Hey, this is Michael J. Penney with 5paragraph.com. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my friend Scott Ferguson.
Time to Shine Today, Varsity Squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and welcome to episode 131 with my man, my leatherneck, my Marine dude, Michael Penney from 5paragraph.com. He's fantastic. He's a lot of fun. His passion for the United States is above reproach. He's a good buddy of mine. He's going to drop some serious knowledge nuggets on you regarding adding value to every situation, the value of a handshake and a heartfelt smile, and I could go on. But without further ado, here's my really good friend, Marine, Patriot, Michael Penney from 5paragraph.com. Time to Shine Today, Varsity Squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and I have somebody from the Marines. And all you guys know that I was a Navy guy, but I also admit that the Marines are the men's department of the Department of the Navy. They go out, they get after it, they crush it. They're a first and last line of defense, and I got a true baller, Michael Penney. Is the company 5 Paragraph. And I'm not going to lie to you and say I know everything about the company. I brought Michael in to really explain it. But Michael is a combat veteran of both Iraq and Afghanistan. He served in the Marine Corps, Infantry 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines, deploying twice to Ramadi, Iraq, and in 2005, 6, and 7. Michael re-enlisted during the second tour and transferred to Quantico to become a weapons instructor. So basically, he took a bunch of boots and he taught them how to fire sidearms and rifles and stuff. He's a total badass, this guy, all right? He's certified as a combat marksmanship coach, trainer, instructor, trainer. He's a formal school instructor, school-trained designated marksman, small arms weapons instructor, and foreign weapons instructor. So basically, I'm going to kind of stop there. He's a total badass, but he's, like I said, he's the creator of 5-Paragraph Business Plan, taking military operations format and applying to business. So before you tune out and think this is just for veterans, go to the website 5, and that's the numerical 5, paragraph.com. And he sets right in there, no military experience required. Not all of you guys could be men and do it. I'm kidding. But I brought in Michael here. And if you watch that video, this guy brought it today, man. He's a suit and tie. He's got his ribbons on. He's crushing it. Michael, welcome to the squad. But I need you to tell me first your favorite color.
Well, thank you for that huge intro, Scott. I really appreciate it. My favorite color is scarlet red.
Scarlet red.
So, absolutely. We have scarlet and gold in the Marine Corps. One of the huge reasons why I loved being on the red team. No big deal. The red is my favorite color. Yes, I know it's hugely aggressive. Yep, red is always on the attack. It's the color of patriotism. It's the blood we shed in order for this wonderful liberty that we experience. So, yep,
absolutely, man. Yeah. So again, welcome to the squad. Can you give us the origins of where you started? Maybe when you enlisted into the Marines, and kind of a little bit of, maybe tell us a really good story about maybe being over Ramadi, or share with us a little bit of the origins before you really got into the 5-Paragraph.
Sure, yeah. So I had been looking at the military as an option when I was in high school, and then 9/11 happened. Yes, I'm that young. 9/11 happened to where I graduated from high school in 2004 and already knew that I wanted to join the Marine Infantry. I tested high enough on the ASAP. Hey, you go and do whatever you want to do. I said, I want to go. I want to be a grunt. And everybody looked at me like, you're freaking nuts. And what it really was is I wanted to go and add value in a place where I felt as though I could add value to this greater overall tribe. If you're going to go and fight with the best. And this is kind of a token that I've carried with me throughout my entire story. And so when I went into the Marine Corps Infantry, this kid from Michigan, right, fellow Michigander.
Yes, that's right.
My first duty station, when you said it, 37 Weapons Company with Cat Red, was 29 Palms, which is out in the middle of the Mojave Desert in Southern California. So to go from the Great Lakes state to 932 square miles blowing stuff up. It was a huge culture shock. It was a change, needless to say. But it was one of those things where I needed the big boy rules. Okay, you're going to give me a rocket launcher. Whoa. I hope that I'm responsible enough to actually employ said rocket launcher, right? Yeah, we do too. So I loved being in the Marine infantry. Honestly, I thought that it was an extraordinarily hard job. I did my fair share of complaining as well. But looking back on it, we got to wear pajamas and boots to work and blow stuff up. I mean, that's pretty freaking cool.
That's awesome.
So, right. Well, and so, doing 2 tours through Ramadi, Iraq, which was just an absolute, it was a shock, man. Let me tell you what. We did Ramadi in 2005, 2006. We went around as a company. We hit somewhere between 250 and 250 IEDs.
Wow.
And we went out there and we found over 275 IEDs. So
just a IED is an improvised explosive device. In case anybody, what it was, those freaking cowards over there would plant them to they didn't want to man up and fight us one-on-one, so they planted them to blow us up, right, Michael?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, I mean, think about it from an insurgency perspective, and I probably, like yourself, watched Red Dawn. Right.
The first one or the second one?
The first one.
That's right.
Not even, we're not going to talk about. There was no second one. I don't know what you're saying. There was no second one.
My man.
Anyway, Wolverines. So we would do the same thing, wouldn't we? We would do the same thing. That's what I'm trying to say. It's one of those where it's like respect the enemy for the tactics, techniques, and procedures that these people would employ.
Right.
And they were smart enough to put washing machine timers on some of these devices and stuff, as dead arm switches. And it was interesting in studying the enemy from the perspective of, if you were to turn the map around, if it was your country, if you were trying to defend yourself in such and such an instance, how would you do it? And that was the first time that I truly started to understand, win hearts and minds, the value of not expending ammunition, the value of a handshake and a heartfelt smile. It honestly will win the war. And this is something that is spoken of by Sun Tzu in The Art of War, right?
Art of War, absolutely. Yeah.
And I would rather go about that in order to then work in unison with our allies that are on the ground. This foreshadows where I wanted to actually go in the Marine Corps as my experience. I went into it thinking, hey, maybe I'll do recon or be a sniper or something like that. I don't know. In Quantico, I got to go through all of those cool schools: foreign weapons, designated marksman, coach, trainer, instructor, trainer, all of that stuff. And it enabled me and empowered me as a non-commissioned officer to be able to go out there and instruct. I used to stand up in front of 300 lieutenants at a time over at the basic school and instruct those 300 lieutenants as one of the 8 Marines who were on the hill.
Right.
And we would push these 300 lieutenants through their periods of instruction as well as their snap in and their live fire, right? Imagine having somebody who wants to fiddle around with a weapon system that's in front of them in their college classroom auditorium style. And then on top of it, you're going to give these people live ammunition. I mean, my goodness. Okay, so teachers are like, oh, man, teaching's the hardest job in the world. I'm giving my students live ammunition and firearms. What are you talking about? I think your job's rough. Maybe it's like teaching in Detroit. I don't know.
It had to have been fun to be able to smoke check a bunch of people you had to salute. Take them out there.
It was.
I mean, it's. I mean, we need the leaders. I mean, they're groomed to be leaders, but they need someone like you that's been in the trenches, that's been there. I did some of my own training over in Coronado, over in Seal Beach and stuff. So, and I had to take on officers quite a bit. So, how did we move forward into the 5-paragraph, Michael?
Okay, so I'm glad that you asked, because on my third tour, I was an embedded advisor to the Afghan Uniform Police, and I saw the effectiveness of what advisors on the ground could really do. So forward, after the Marine Corps, I actually invented a product, brought it all the way to market, scaled, and it failed miserably, as businesses do. And as I was talking to a fellow Marine about that business and giving him the pitch, and we were done with the meeting. He was a big venture capital guy, Norwich grad, all sorts of connected. We're walking out, and he's like, "Hey, man, you're a sergeant in the infantry, weren't you?" "Yeah." "Why didn't you just write an operations order for what you want to get done?" And it's like a 5-paragraph operations order. It's like, yeah. Light bulb moment goes off. There you go. So 5-paragraph is taking the operations order and the nuts and bolts of great business plans and combining those two working wheels into a highly efficient wheel. So don't reinvent the wheel. Take 2 working wheels, bring them together, make a 0 to 1 product, as Peter Thiel would say.
Mm-hmm.
So 5-paragraph operations order is how we would construct patrols, how we would put together a letter of intent, let's say, for instance, in opening a schoolhouse. Everything from an executive officer level leadership all the way on down to the sergeant, to the petty officer, on the ground, on the deck, they're all using the same 5-paragraph operations order format.
Wow.
And so I saw this as a huge opportunity in business.
Love it. So you parlayed the military operations order into the civilian life in a sense as well. Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Kind of what you did, which is fantastic. Man, that was kind of that light bulb was with somebody that while you're an embedded advisor that had talked to you about it?
No. So, okay, how the light bulb went off is I was already working another company. I was out of the Marine Corps. I was talking to him about potentially investment money, and he said, "Why not give this pitch an operations order format?" Where the embedded advisor element, that piece in the backstory, is hugely critical for me, the founder of 5P, to be able to use that mission here as advisors with 5P, the overall military management method for the modern workforce. When we work with organizations to create a custom learning experience for them and their people, we assess, train, advise, and assist them in order to rise to their given standard of proficiency the exact same way that we did as an embedded advisor element. Okay,
Wow.
So if you go to 5paragraph.com, you're checking out the book, which you can get free plus shipping. All that we're saying is that you pay shipping and handling. We will send you the book. You will get 30 days free access to the 5P Inner Circle. That's our templates and all of our online learning experience. You can do a 15-minute assessment with me. That usually trails off into a 45-minute assessment because we get to talking with people. And the idea being is that we are there to provide you one-on-one advisor services. We can come in and do a around the conference room table up to 10 participants, or we can do 1 to 3 day fully planned out programmed 8-hour day workshops where we've got up to 100 participants. I'm used to instructing 5 days a week, 300 lieutenants going through at 17 lieutenant details and 300 lieutenants per, as well as all of the other recall, all of the other training, all of the other advisor stuff downrange. That's what I'm bringing to our advisor cadre. That's what I'm personally bringing.
Got it.
5P's that brand. I get to be the conveyance of it. It's a tool for your toolbox.
Love it. It's fantastic. It's something that really nobody's really offering. It's very I mean, people are offering it, but not in a package format like you are. So if I am at a networking event, which here in South Florida, we kind of can, but if I'm talking to somebody and I'm using the golden rule of, one mouth and 2 ears for a reason, I'm shutting up and I'm listening. What kind of things might they be saying to me, Michael, that would make them a great candidate, a prospect, or a referral, or an introduction to 5 paragraph?
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you ask, and I appreciate that you do. There are small to medium-sized business owners who have a process in place for how they're making money, potentially in a skilled labor market. They might even be a landscaper. They might be somebody who's doing homework around the house. They're a contractor, and they want to run multiple crews, and they're trying to get that business management piece to click for them. Okay, so we've seen success. We've seen success with everything from healthcare to corrections to insurance companies. We've even seen a junior high classroom using 5P. They've got it on the bulletin board. It's actually really cool. But our target, what we're looking to be able to help, are those fine folks that were in Flyover America, that were the silent majority on the last go around. They're focused on growing this through skilled labor. You go to 5paragraph.com right now. Go ahead, check out my letter from the president that's on there. We sent copies to Donald Trump. I will proudly say this publicly. Donald Trump sent me a letter back. Go and check it out at 5paragraph.com. We're looking for those types of business leaders that are small to medium, have processes for making money, but they need that business management put into place so that they can delegate their authority and command their business like a general.
Love it. Love it. And the lead from the front and push from the back a little bit. And that's fantastic. That's what 5paragraph does. Mike, I'm going to ask you, since you know about Red Dawn, the early one with Patrick Swayze and Sheen and all the rest of them.
Right.
Let's get in our DeLorean with Marty McFly then. So
Okay.
I'm sure you know Back to the Future, right? So let's get in there. Let's go back to the 22-year-old Michael.
Okay.
What kind of knowledge nuggets, that's what we call them here at Time to Shine today, what kind of knowledge nuggets are you dropping on the 22-year-old Michael with the experience that you, knowledge and wisdom that you have now to help him shorten his learning curve and level up?
Oh, man. All right. I tell you what. Here's something that I have no problem sharing. I have not had a drop of booze for over 10 years.
So maybe
I would go back to him and I would say you're on the right track. You're onto something with what you're thinking here. All right. Put that down, plug on the jug, and pick up books.
All right.
Which right around that time is when it really started clicking into gear for me, where it was like, wait a minute. Yeah, if I hang out with other drunks, I'm going to get drunker.
Yeah.
And then, I was hanging out with the other, and it's, yeah, sure, it's Marine sailors and other stuff like
Sure.
that. You're the aggregate of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, right?
Absolutely.
And so you have to be able to start changing those things up. So 22-year-old Mike was definitely, I had already done, think about this. I already done 2 tours through Ramadi, Iraq, 22-year-old Mike. 22-year-old Mike was going through Quantico.
Sure.
And starting to do the advisor trainer thing and all of this other stuff. And I was really starting to get into that headspace of, hey, wait a minute. I know what my assigned value is, and I want to level that up, as you so adequately put it.
Yeah.
So you're on the right track. Keep a plug on the jug. Keep reading books. Keep doing what you're doing. Matter of fact, 22-year-old Mike Penney was when I really stepped out and started doing the truly getting the instruction stuff.
Got it.
So yeah, so that's 12 years ago. I'm 34 now. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
So then what is the BIG, the big, you've accomplished so much at 34 years of age, brother. You're still a young buck. So like
Absolutely.
what is the BIG thing that Michael wants to accomplish?
Sure, the business development group. Business development group using 5P. Think about this, okay? You've got a whole bunch of business leaders that are all using the same template. Can you imagine alignment? Can you imagine business development to the absolute extreme? Because now all of your supporting agencies, the same way that the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, you don't all look the same. You look a little bit the same. We wear camouflage to work, but you definitely don't act the same. Coast Guard and the Marines act very different from how, let's say the Air Force do.
Sure.
But wait a minute. How do you get artillery and people who fly jets and people who steer boats? How do you get them all onto the same page?
Right. Love
5P.
it. So you want to 5P the world, just like Grant Cardone.
I do.
An exit. You want to 5P the world. So that being said, do you get any pushback from companies that bring 5P in when you first kind of lay out the operations plan for their company?
Believe it or not, it's not the pushback, it's the vulnerability that leaders experience. They're like, wait a minute, hold on. You want me to brief the same plan to the board of directors and then turn around and brief that to all of the VPs? Correct.
Right. It works.
And to us, it's like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. That's what the general does, and then so on and so forth, all the way down the chain of command.
Right.
When you're a sergeant, you back brief your platoon commander, and then you turn around brief all your
Right.
people in your team, right?
Right.
So that's the biggest hurdle for a lot of leaders is they're really putting out the transparency. I would say the number 2 is when you delegate authority, it's time for you to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
There's no micromanage. There's no helicopter parent. When you're done delegating authority, that's it. It's time to walk away. Okay, and here's the third thing, and I would say this is probably the most critical, okay? This is the biggest takeaway for anybody that I talk to in regard to 5P. If you delegate your authority to be able to go and take action, you must delegate your authority to make observations on your behalf. That's how you get that feedback loop. That's how you get mission buy-in. That's how you lower turnover, is by getting people to go and take action. And then when they turn around and tell you what actually took place, you got to take it into account the next time that you go around and plan.
Love that.
Because there are a whole lot of people who would rather be all results driven. And I get it, man. Come on. Plan, do, check, act. Edward Demings.
Yeah.
I get it. Bill Smith over there and Lean Sigma and Six Sigma and all of this other stuff. I studied all of them. All right. But I like looking at Gifford Pinchot III's entrepreneurship. You need entrepreneurial leaders, sergeants, petty officers on the ground, on the deck. They are entrepreneurial leaders who pick up that guidon under their own initiative and say, we're going over there.
Right.
I know what the commander's intent is. I know what the desired end state is. Here's all of the objectives in between, and we need to hit them. Okay, so if you're putting this into place, and I absolutely believe that you should, and every business in America should have this level of accountability and transparency, it's got to have that feedback loop. We can help you. It starts with getting the book at 5paragraph.com, getting one-on-one like this. And then we can do the conference stuff and everything else virtually also.
Love it.
So, the whole slides in the background and stuff like that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
We're accommodating.
Love that.
Adapt and overcome.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Adapt and overcome. So we talk a lot about the dash here at Time to Shine today. And Michael, you like me have faced, very close calls, for lack of a better term. But how do you want that dash remembered, that little dash in between your life date and your expiration date? How do you want that remembered? Maybe a legacy statement, epitaph. How do you want your dash remembered?
Add value to every situation, no matter how explosive, no matter how vulnerable you feel. Add value to every situation. It's something that I even expressed in my TED Talk, which, again, it's at 5paragraph.com, but add value to every situation, no matter how explosive it may be. And that's really how you get in between, those lulls.
Yeah.
Everybody's got the blues, man. Everybody deals with that type of stuff. It's just, rest, relax, recoup, surround yourself with people who give you energy. Go out there outside of your comfort zone, find something else. Boom, it snaps into place. Throw yourself into situations,
Sure.
But really, it's that add value.
Love that.
So,
Love it. What are 3 things, or let's say 3 nouns, person, place, or thing, that Michael can't live without?
Oh, man, that's great. Great leaders focus on the nouns. Put the right people in the right place with the right things. Okay, people first. My immediate team. Okay, you did say people. That's plural. So my immediate team at 5P I couldn't live without. All right, and Lisa and Brian and John and all of the other folks that help out in a greater capacity over there. But that immediate close circle, it is so hugely important that people understand that 5P is not the Michael J. Penney show. It is a team of people. It is a tool for their toolbox, and I am simply the conveyance for it. The places. Ooh, the places.
You can name 3 anything you want.
Oh, okay.
What's 3 things you can't live without?
3 things that I can't live without. I gotcha. Oh, man. I would say from a very simplest perspective, my truck I can't live without.
There you go.
I love my American-made Chevrolet truck. My coffee, I can't live without, just to give you a little bit of a, hey, how do you keep this energy thing going? But from a people perspective, it really is, it's the folks right there that are near and dear to my heart. But honestly, from a place, and I totally mean this 100%, I cannot live without America. I am not joking.
Love it.
I've been to all except for Hawaii, and I absolutely love our country. I love it. I'm willing to die for it.
Thank you so much for saying that, especially in this day and age and the stuff that's going on. I don't want to go there with this conversation, but thank you so much for saying that. It's a breath of fresh air to talk to somebody that's a patriot like myself. So we're going to, as we wind it up a little bit, Michael, we're going to go into our leveling up lightning round. You and I could talk 15, 20 minutes on each one of these, but I need first answer, no explanation. They're easy questions. You ready?
Ready.
All right. What's the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Oh, my goodness. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.
Love it. All right. What's the name? Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Absolutely. When I wake up, I immediately I brush my teeth, and then I have a daily routine where I just need to be grateful. So I'll be there, I'll be brushing my teeth, and I'm just, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? Got to take stock. What am I grateful for? Because I've been there on the other side of the planet, living out of a backpack with a gun in my hands, and I hear you. What am I grateful for?
Love it. I do the same thing. I list them out. I put it right on my website, what I'm grateful for every day. So people that do check that out, they like it. So
excellent.
Other than 5-paragraph, and of course, timetoshine.today.com, my shameless plug, what is another website that you go to level up? And again, quickly, lightning round.
Sure, ClickFunnels. I like what Russell Brunson's doing.
Got it.
5paragraph.com is ClickFunnels. Yep.
Love it. Love it. So not what you're reading now, not what your the flavor of the month. Name the book. Like mine's like The Traveler's Gift or Men's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Like I got a couple books that if you were saying, Scott, man, I'm not feeling good, Fergie, you got a book for me, I hand you one of those two. What are you thinking? What's your book?
To level up, it's probably Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon, baby. It's the Bible.
Yeah, I like that. But, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People has a special spot in my heart from just better understanding how the human psychology.
Absolutely.
But also I would say that there's something like War is a Racket by Smedley Butler, or even the Communist Manifesto. Because it's like, can you believe how crazy this is? It's don't just drink your own Kool-Aid. Look around and be open-minded.
Love it. So if you could be one age for the rest of your life, and don't say right now, if you could be one age for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Probably 25.
Love it. Great. Quarter century. Beautiful. What's your favorite charity and organization you like to give your time and or money to?
Probably the Institute of Veterans and Military Families.
Good for you. And last question. It's a toughie. What's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, some classic there, man. You and I can hang out anytime.
Yeah.
So how can we find you, brother?
So you can go to 5paragraph.com. You find folks know about that. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Michael J. Penney. That's Penney. Everybody misspells it. It's all good. No relation to J.C. Penney. I didn't see a time. Very funny.
Well, you wouldn't be doing too well with your stock now anyways if you're part of that family. But hey, leave us, you know what? Last question for you. What's your definition of a life well lived?
A life well lived is seeing my children, of which I have 4.
Nice.
Who are out there living by those guiding valued principles, which that I work so diligently to empower people with, and that's add value. Add value to every situation. Yes, it's more than just that. Great leaders focus on the nouns, the right people, the right place, the right things. You can accomplish anything.
Love it.
Taking a breath. Just take a breath, man. It's all good. Take a breath. Take a look around. Tactical pause is okay from time to time. So, yeah, I want to see my children really be a success, and I want to see them argue for patriotic values. the Constitution means a whole lot to me. And I'll say this. None of my children get a cell phone until they write the Declaration of Independence in a cursive by hand.
Nice.
Because if you can't write it, you can't read it. And then we're going to lose our founding documents. And that matters very deeply to me.
I love your values, man. And Squad, we just had a master class, mind-blowing master class with my good friend Michael Penney from 5paragraph. And again, it's 5paragraph.com. He's always adding value in every situation. You know, you have to sit back, take a step back, maybe a 30,000-foot view, and assess, train, advise, and assist. You know, he's looking for a perfect referral for Michael, which I have a few of mine already, or small to medium-sized businesses looking to level up. And you know what? He would tell himself, younger self, and he's telling you to level up. What he used, I love this, plug the jug. You know, lay off the sauce. You know, keep yourself reading, keep yourself educated. You know, make sure if you're a leader that you're delegating authority to get a solid feedback loop. So if it worked, great. If it didn't, you can maybe make a few changes, tweak it, and level up. You know, he's telling you to focus on the nouns, 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 the right people, right place, and right time. And most of all, take a friggin' breath. Sit back, have fun, and enjoy this journey. And Michael, you know, not only is he's a fellow veteran, but, you know, he's a fellow patriot. He's leveling up his health. He's leveling up his wealth. He's hungry, yet he's humble. And you're part of our squad now, Michael, so thanks so much for coming on, brother.
It's an honor and a privilege. Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you're a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.